leadership. We have had a second election where Barack Obama has been spanked by the electorate because they do not like his extremist left-wing policies. He continues not to get the message. We have had examples of occupiers of the Oval Office in the past getting the message. Bill Clinton. Ronald Reagan came into office with a Democrat-controlled Congress and got things done. Can Barack Obama? Will Barack Obama? Dusty Staub is here. He heads up Staub Leadership International. It's a management consulting firm that focuses on human systems excellence. Mr. Staub, welcome back to the Voice of Texas.
Thank you, Chris.
What is your take from what you've seen, what we've all seen these last 6 years from Barack Obama? Does he have the mental capacity? Does he have the tools, as far as leadership is concerned, to pivot and actually get something done with an elected Congress that is now of the other party?
Chris, that's a great question. Let me answer it in three parts. One, the guy's smart enough. He's obviously quite intelligent. He's quite smart. But being a leader requires more than being smart. The second part of that is, at this point, the only leadership he has shown he is really good at is getting himself elected as president. Third part, up to this point in time, he's got 2 years left. Basically, I think he's got about another 6 months to 9 months because he'll be totally lame duck in the last year. But he's got that time to show that he can learn, that he can compromise, and that he can actually lead. At this point in time, if I were grading him, I'd say A+ for getting elected, F for leading the country and really being chief administrator.
Now, you mentioned he could learn. He could pivot. He could do all of this stuff. I would submit there's nothing in our experience with Barack Obama that leads us to believe he either will do or he's capable of doing that. I believe he is governed completely by left-wing ideology. I don't believe he's the smartest man in the world. We haven't. There's a reason why we haven't seen his transcripts. There's a reason why we don't know what his grades were in college.
Right.
I have long speculated this is a guy who mailed it in and got by on his ability to deliver a good speech and his charisma, and he played on his race. And so I do not believe that he is incredibly smart or gifted. And as you mentioned, the intangibles, the ability to be a leader and say, look, not only surround yourself with those who make up for your deficiencies, and the hallmark of a good leader is to recognize where you're deficient. But Barack Obama has this godlike complex that he has projected to his followers and to those who elected him. Let me be clear. I am everything. I know everything. You know, this is the guy who dares to tell the American public that he knows about medicine, that he knows about war, that he knows about, and he's been proven wrong on every single one of the major issues in our time. And he is a massive failure. So again, you may say he has the capacity to do this. I really don't believe he's wired that way.
Well, I would say this. Something you don't know about me, Chris, I'm also a psychotherapist. I was a licensed marital and family therapist for a number of years and in private practice. And so if I analyze the president from a psychotherapeutic point of view, being really psychological for a moment, the problem with the man is the Greek sin of hubris, intellectual arrogance. And one of the things that I do when I work with organizations is that they're really looking to hire people who are mentally flexible. The world keeps changing. You've got to be able to flex with times. Clinton showed that. Reagan showed that, as you cited. They both were mentally flexible, and yet both had their sets of principles. I think Reagan was more principled, but anyway, when you look at Obama, his major principle is, I'm the smartest guy in the world. In 2010, he was warned by an outgoing congressman, you've got to be careful. You can't keep alienating the Republicans when they push the Affordable Care Act. So he said, hey, you didn't have me before. Well, you know, when Newt Gingrich came in and Clinton got a spanking. You've got me now. Well, that's arrogant. And so I would say his capacity to learn is extremely limited because he is not mentally agile out of his arrogant state of mind. And I think that's really sad.
Dusty Staub, my guest right now, he's the author of 3 books, The Heart of Leadership, 12 Practices of Courageous Leaders, one of the more recent ones. So let me play a soundbite from Barack Obama. You took me right where I wanted to go, Dusty. This is Obama yesterday in a press conference acknowledging that he has no idea what is on Republicans' minds. He has no idea what the elected Republicans and, the constituents they represent, what they want. Have a listen.
Yeah, what we're going to make sure that we do is to reach out to Mitch McConnell and John Boehner, who are now running both chambers in Congress, and find out what their agenda is.
So after 6 years in the Oval Office, Mr. Obama has just admitted he has no idea. Because, as you mentioned, he has not forged these relationships. He's not worked. He doesn't. Let me be clear. I won. So he doesn't work with anybody. Hell, he doesn't even work with members of his own party, for crying out loud. And he just admitted, after 6 years in the Oval Office, he has no idea what Republicans are about.
Well, and Chris, I think that just proves the point I was making. Now, I want to say something about this election very quickly, which is that the Republicans need to be careful. I don't know this was so much an embracing of the Republican brand as it was a repudiation of the Obama brand and the Democrats in the Senate, as well as House of Representatives. And I think that the challenge will be that the Republicans need to show in the next 2 years that they can get some things done while dealing with a very challenging, very difficult, arrogant man in the White House who hasn't shown the capacity to really learn or flex yet. And they're going to have to be very creative and very innovative. Right now, the expectations are very low. People expect more gridlock. If they can exceed those low expectations, then the Republicans have a shot at electing a president in 2016. Otherwise, the public's going to punish them also.
I agree. I agree with what you said, Dusty, with one addendum. It's not just enough to get something done. You've got to get the right thing done. I don't believe in getting something done. Just say, hey, look what we did. Look, we did something, because Mr. Obama has been about that. I mean, this current ISIS crisis is a prime example of this. Well, he's doing something. Yeah, it's not winning. It's all designed for public consumption and to help his plummeting poll numbers. Let's focus on doing the right thing. If they can do one right thing, it would be a step in the right direction. Dusty Staub, you can catch him at Staub Leadership International. What's the website, Dusty?
StaubLeadership.com.
StaubLeadership.com. I appreciate your time and expertise, as always. Great analysis, as always.